the hotel in Shinju. To
Sorry?
share you, I'm at the hotel near Shinju, which is
Okay.
actually the Silicon Valley part. The semiconductor part. This is 14th floor.
Oh,
And
awesome.
a really nice hotel. The
Wow,
occurrence is the right now the mentor. I might have shared this with you, Donald. He's going to be attending an investor conference and invited me.
Oh, that's cool.
Here. Yeah. Okay. So that's a quick update and win. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, nice one.
So,
does that mean are you doing the thing that you did in Canada and attending in the nice hotel but staying in the hostel down the road?
No. I'll be staying here tonight.
Oh, good. Well done. No, congratulations. I'm glad you are.
Thanks. Yeah. So yeah, actually that's a win. And actually maybe just an update there. I was Ben's I think the most recent session talks about 10 years versus 10 days, right? I mean, if you are thinking about where you will be in 10 years versus just the next 10 days, your focus, priority, strategy might be a little different. Okay. So that's a wing on my side, which is, well, in 10 years, I know I'll be doing what's called a social accelerator. Okay, basically accelerator for social startups, social enterprises. And so to actually get that level, I'll probably be, wanting to know more about how to be an investor, right? And so a step towards that is to know and meet and get acquainted with some investor friends. And I was just invited to this. So that was
good.
Quite interesting. Yeah. All right. So any wins on your end? Would you like to share some wins?
Oh gosh, wins. I'm never really prepared for this because I have so many, to be honest with you.
Okay. Just the most. I guess what's the most impressive? Yeah.
All right. So Friday I did my gold pod. So what did I have written down for that?
Okay.
Yeah, I think the timetable blocking, the 90 minutes of easy questions. What's easy look like? Because it's this thing that I learned in the flow with the flow guides is that they say if you ask a question, if it was easy, what would it look like? And it being whatever it is that you're doing, right? So if JCF was easy, what would it look like? Sorry, there's a fly in it.
Okay.
So and then you reflect on that over 90 minutes.
Right.
And the guy was saying, yeah, and you got to do it in a calm environment. You got to do it where there's no there's no distraction, potentially out in the countryside somewhere where there's nature, and it's almost like a meditative state. And the first sort of like 30 minutes, you answer all the obvious statements. The next 30 minutes, you answer more deep statement questions or provide more deeper understanding. But the last 30 minutes, that's where you get the real juice of what needs to be done. And I haven't tried it, but it sounds like an interesting one to do. So that's on my to-do list at some point. So yeah, working with you is always a win, mate, if I'm going to be honest. So.
Okay. Same here.
So, and what was the other thing that I managed to do? Oh yeah, look, I tell you what, this was unexpected. I came to the end of this.
Oh, okay. 21.
I don't know if you've tried this.
Right.
I just
okay.
But there it is. I reached 21, and I was like, oh, I don't have to do anymore.
Okay. How is this different from the 3 wins? Ben asked us to write. How is it different?
Not really, but you have to do 5. And also it asks a little bit, it gives you a journal prompt. So it says what it says. So the first thing is the achievement, right? So you have 5 achievements, so that's 5 wins.
Okay.
Then it asks you why, what's the reason why, what's next, what's further progress, and what's the specific action.
Okay, I see. Okay.
So it just helps you, clarify what you've
I see.
done, why it's important, what you need to do next, and then a
Okay.
task, an action, which
I
actually,
see.
is pretty good.
I see. So is that the 5 bullet points where you write down the achievement? Why is it good? What's the next improvement and action? Is that what you write on a daily basis?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example then.
Okay.
See if I can find one randomly. And
so do you actually write 5 points, each answering these 4 questions?
Yeah.
Is that what you've done?
Yeah. So
okay.
achievement number 1, right?
Okay.
This is on the 30th of January, right?
Right.
Shunyun.
Okay.
We have commitment and clarity. That's the reason why Shunyun is an achievement, right?
Okay.
Further progress. Keep up with the momentum 3 hag.
Okay.
Read. Specific action. Read 3 hag chapter 4 by Wednesday.
I see. Okay.
So
wow.
if you remember when we were talking about that, that's
Right.
that was the 30th. So we must have had a discussion that morning or that night or whatever it was.
Right.
So I mean, that's just let's just
okay. All right. Great.
give you an idea.
Great. All right. So any other thing you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'm sure there's something, but I can't remember what it is.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah. I think I do have something. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay, go on. No, I was just going to comment on the AMP stuff.
Okay.
That I went through on Sunday, but I'm happy.
Right.
I can do that next. Go on, you talk.
Okay. All right. So my other wins, the immunity of change to change. Okay, that's basically sharing that in the AMP goal, and also actually he was sharing that in the platinum call last week as well. So, it's essentially very simply like, what is the goal commitment you like to achieve? What's the action you do or don't do? That's what's called the second column. The third is like, what's the hidden commitments, behind the do's and don't do's. And the fourth is the hidden assumption. Okay, so you got that. All right. So basically the win here is I did that. Actually, I also finished the audiobook version of the book just this weekend. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Which was actually, I think a lot more detailed examples I mean, the framework is very simple, but they gave a lot more examples to how it's actually implemented. And I think the win here, the realization is, well, I actually put my hidden commitments are family, reserve time for family. So family time. Okay. So because of that, I intentionally, like restrict my work, actions, things I do actually very intentionally. And also the other is to make family members, particularly parents, proud. Okay, I didn't realize that's I mean, it's probably something a lot of Asian people do have. But what I didn't realize is I am on the surface level, not going for what my parents want me to do, which is, get stable jobs, be employed and stop having all these, startup dramas.
Wacky ideas.
Right. And wacky ideas, exactly. However, I am not obeying them. I'm doing my own stuff. And the underlying commitment is actually to make them proud. Okay.
Yeah, you're doing it your way.
Exactly. So I was seeing the irony and seeing the, so this is like what you talk about putting your foot, 1 feet on the gas, 1 feet on the brake, right? It's like you're actually opposing actions happening at the same time. So you're going nowhere. Okay, so something to think about.
Yeah.
And the other win is there has been a family, we have some family houses about to rent. And last year, when I went to Canada, I was studying about tokenized assets, right? You know about this, how to make real estate assets tokenized. So right now, there's actually a real opportunity for me to put some of the estates of our family under a company, okay, and I actually tokenize them in forms of like usage rights, membership. So in other words, there actually be a chance very soon to test out what I was studying, last year into action here in Taiwan. Okay, because the logic is the same. We are not going to tinker with any of the, real estate laws or things like that as it is. However, we are going to tokenize like assets usage rights with, like membership. So that's something that, yeah, I see that as a win, and also something repeating the last year's 20%. Okay, so yeah, something to just share with you because
okay, so
what they're doing as well.
Yeah. It's interesting. I would rather test the model with somebody else's property.
Okay. Okay.
If it were me, right? Because
Okay,
I am a little bit more cautious. I mean, the idea is sound and it works. But if you're providing a proof of concept,
right,
then you're risking, family assets on a proof of concept. So I just think that either you've got to have an absolute bulletproof tokenized kind of platform process, etc. Or if you design it and then somebody else tests it for you, or you test it on something which has got relatively low value. You see, in the UK, you've got you've got properties which you can buy for sort of like, I don't know, under 100,000.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay.
And so the risk there is lower than if you're buying a property for $250,000.
Right, that's right. Okay.
So I don't know that. I mean, it's possible people to do anything really, but I mean, yeah, I guess that's why I thought about it for income for the property white paper that I wrote. Would I do it for myself?
Right.
And could I do that with a couple of properties just to test it? And I thought, well, yeah, I could do, but I wouldn't want to do that unless I absolutely was certain that it was bulletproof.
Okay. All
so
right, thanks.
It just gives you, I'm probably a look. That's why I'm a 7 and you're an 8 quick start.
Right.
That one number makes a big difference, right?
It sounds like it is a big difference. Yes. All right. So, but I think that's a good, we could learn from each other, right? And I think that's definitely a good feedback. Thanks. So probably I want to be maybe a bit more cautious and try something that's lower. I guess basically.
Well, look,
smaller.
Yeah, I mean, you gave me you gave me an insight into one of your issues at the moment, which was you put some equity from the properties into one of the blockchain or crypto kind of engagements, and currently it's stuck there because they failed, right? So you almost went all in, and then and you've got you're suffering because of a play in the market, right?
Right. That's right.
And I think the lesson that you want to walk away from with that is not to repeat the same thing again.
Right.
So
okay.
If you control something, then you've got complete control over everything, right? So then you understand the risk that you're taking because you have control. And if it's not in the hands of others, and it's in the hands of you, then you are in complete control, right? So that mitigates the level of risk. There's always a level of risk, right? But then it's about working out how to mitigate each level of risk that you come across. And I think that there's a difference between your example of the previous investment with I can't remember the name, Solaris or whatever it was, right?
Celsius.
Thank you, Celsius. And then the idea you got now. So I just it's just that's just from the outside looking in. But
okay, thanks.
Who am I to make these sorts of comments? But
no. It's valuable. I think in this case the risk could be different. Like right now, real estates, they're already under our name. We will be controlling them, and if they are managed by a company, likewise there. So I think the potential risks are more like legal, and structure-wise, like or tax-wise. like whether we will like incur unexpected, unnecessary extra, costs in doing things this way, right? As opposed to the traditional way. But if these can be properly explored and, that we have validated that it is a working model, then yeah, I think that things, yeah, I think that means probably paying extra attention to the tax and legal implication of what I'm planning to do. Yeah. So
yeah.
all right. So thanks.
I think that model. I mean, I did those questions as well, and it was interesting because that model drew me back to something that's obviously reoccurring, and it's about hidden commitments.
Okay.
And
okay.
and I think like you're saying that it's your parents and making them proud, doing what they want you to do, sort of thing. And I guess in a way that's kind of what mine is as well, really, because
really?
My parents, they spent pretty much. When my dad became a Baha'i when he was 18 years old,
right?
And then a year later, he got called up into the army because it was the beginning of the Second World War.
Okay.
So he had to join the army, and instead of becoming, he wasn't. Instead of being a conscientious objector, he just requested to be assigned to a non-combatant unit. So they made him a stretcher bearer, and he joined the Royal Medical Corps. And so he didn't pick up a gun, but he ran along the front lines, picking up wounded people and taking them back to the hospitals.
I see.
So, and then after that, he went to Africa for the Baha'i faith, and after that, he came back to the UK for the Baha'i faith, and he just spent his entire life with that as his primary focus, and stuff like houses, work, and all the rest of it is his secondary focus.
I see. Okay.
And so all of his life, he was, when I was, I don't know, less than 13, maybe 11 or something like that, or 10, maybe 11 or 12. He said, I remember him saying to me, I've got to carry on working till I'm over 70, just to keep you, in the house, sort of thing. And I went, well, I didn't ask you to have me, did I? But my point here is that there was this kind of paradox of them serving their belief and living that Baha'i life, and then me being brought up in that environment, as was my brother and sister, and celebrating and living that life, to also spending all your time on just doing that and not worrying about the physical world. Now, to be honest, what did I learn when my dad passed away? He still had debts, but all of those debts were wiped clean. Not because he just died. Well, I mean, yes, because he died. Part of them were rendered because of his death, were rendered null, and some of them were not. But the ones which were not, we thought, oh, my mum's going to have to sell the family house so she can pay for everything. And then out of the blue, one of the companies that he worked for since the 60s came along and said, because he's been a great member of staff, this is a pay that we give people who've served a long time with us, and it covered all the remaining debts. So my mum didn't have any debts. So basically, one might argue that he was rewarded for his spiritual service on this realm, in this world, by nulling all of his debts when he moved on. So materially or physically, he sacrificed his life for the spiritual one that he was dedicated to. And I think that's an example that I have a problem with. This is what this is my point, is that am I holding myself back in certain things because I'm not dedicating myself the same way that I would be dedicating myself to my father dedicated himself and my mother dedicated herself to. And so it's really that I think this is my kind of reflection of what is my hidden commitment.
Right.
And is this spiritual thing, this kind of argument that I have about, it's easier to pass a camel through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God.
Okay.
Right. So that's a biblical quote. It's not really a quote from Jesus per se, but it's a biblical quote.
Right.
But then after all of that, like in the Baha'i writings, it says, everything I have created for thee except thine human heart. Well, that says to me that the world that we live in, it's all there for us to appreciate and enjoy. And,
that's right.
and to have, so long as our hearts remain focused on our whoever you want to call it.
I see. The higher callings, right? Higher purposes.
The higher purpose. So our heart is dedicated to God, if you want. So that's kind of like, but you see, then again, that's one sentence, and I can add like 1,000 others, which are all about the spiritual realities of life. Truthfulness is the foundation of all human virtues, for instance. That it's got nothing to do with material gain. It's all about, take thyself into account each day. Man is a mine rich in gems of inestimable value. So these are not about, although they use physical kind of connotations, they're not about actual physical things. They're about us understanding our spiritual nature. So Shunyun,
I guess your hidden commitment? I'm
well,
curious on that. I mean,
I think it's just, well, the commitment is, so the commitment is being true to my religious belief.
I see. Okay.
I think that's holding me back from being committed to a physical kind of
material pursuit.
Set of goals.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just a quick feedback on that. Would it be all right?
Please do. Yeah, I'd love it.
Okay. I'm realizing more and more all the material wealth that we see physically, they are really spiritual. I am coming more and more to this kind of viewpoint and conclusion, in that what people perceive as material, like this is a really beautiful hotel. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really well decorated, well designed. When you enter the lobby, there's a aroma, there's a presence. However, I can also see very clearly it comes from a design. It's ships, it's seaside. There's a love for the sea actually behind all the design that I see here. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that unless you have elevated your spirituality, you will actually not be able to create or to enjoy material wealth as it continues to go up to the next level, right? The most most wealthy people family, they actually collect what? They collect arts, right? I think that's and cultural stuff, and I think that's an indication, that actually, as you, I mean, there are people who are just chasing after the money or the materials, okay, but you can only do so, I think, to a certain degree. If you're just after those things, you will not continue to up your wealth level. That's one thing. The second thing is you will not be able to keep the wealth that, even if they come into your possession. So I think this is actually not diverged, but actually aligned on many fronts. And, I don't know if you know the book, I think it was written by a rabbi, How Thou Shalt Prosper. I think it was also one of Ben's recommended book. I don't know if you know.
Okay.
It's written by a Jewish rabbi, Thou Shalt Prosper. And they talk about the Jewish view on finance and money, and why the Jews are one of the wealthiest people in the world. It's because to them it's actually spirituality. Okay, so I guess I don't know if that helps in any way, but this is just something I could see that. So
Yeah, no, thank you.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is, you are not, I mean, there may be apparent conflict, but that's perhaps superficial. You know, at the ground foundational level, spirituality and wealth goes together. And in fact, I think they have to complement one each other. You know, as you continue on your spiritual path, it could affect, you know, your materialistic wealth level as well. You know, that and likewise. So I mean,
yeah, that's interesting.
yeah. So all right. So
Cool.
I think
Well, we spent half an hour.
So maybe let's dive into 3 Act. that's a longer beginning.
Oh yeah.
And I do apologize. Maybe I'll yeah. We might be prepared for a meeting in, you know, at so probably 9 a.m. But I'm pretty prepared this time. If you can share the 3 Act document, you will see my notes all the way to chapter 6. Okay.
Oh mate, you've been putting some time in on that.
Yeah. So maybe we can just dive right into it, and yeah, maybe you can share the screen if you like.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. And I think I'll turn off my.
Have you got your computer yet?
Yes, but there's something with the power. So actually, I'm still using. Right now, I'm using my phone. So
Right.
also to learn. Yeah. Okay. So I think we got out to this part. We can, yeah, probably go to the next. Yeah. So would you like to continue? I think you have some notes here, right? About the.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. So okay, so we agreed these bits, right?
Right. I think those have been agreed. Basically, the main, you know, the main departments or activity, the functions, right? The key functions. Yeah.
Okay. So, oh, this is relevant.
Okay.
I don't know what you. Let me. Okay. So somebody told me one of the people on my pod, who's been on pod the same length of time that I have. So January of 2019, I think it was, or 2020. They are a VP of delivery for a company called ICX, I think it is. She's 57, I think. She's a very nice person, from what I can understand from talking to her on pods for 3 years. And she's, over the last sort of, I don't know, 9 months or so, basically one of 2 people who run the business, she's kind of fallen out with. And it looks like this guy is having a bit of he's derailing a little bit. And she's told us about this on and off for a while. Basically, she was taken away. She went on holiday, and when she came back, this guy said, "Well, I don't think you're the right person for the job anymore. So, you know, we're going to have to change your role." So she was really shocked about this because there was no indication and da-di-da-di-da. And it just struck me. I thought, gosh, I mean, I don't know that, you know, we're certainly. I don't know what you think, but she's obviously an experienced woman, and she's got, you know, I mean, she manages teams globally.
Oh wow! Okay.
Like for instance, they hire in Brazil, I think it is, and yeah, so she manages the guys, and it's all about. She's an IT person, so that's what she's been doing for like 35 years or however long it is.
Okay.
So, and although she's been delivering, you know, it's more kind of operational management. It just struck me. I thought, is it worth us I mean, would it be attractive to you to see if there's an interest there for her to talk to us? And not necessarily because we can't afford to pay her anything, but if there was something that, I just wondered if everybody thought it was a good idea, then there's maybe an opportunity for her to come and do something as an aside line in case it all goes pear-shaped, and then she's got something to fall into, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But,
Yeah,
I don't know. Would you like me to put that forward?
Yeah,
okay, fine.
Sure. And also, I mean, definitely schedule a call. I mean, I think it would be no harm to chat, since she's also an emperor, right? And you know, I really believe that the same mindset, logic, thinking process, 10x growth. I think that is something we're looking for, you know, as partners or team members. So definitely, yeah, I think this is great.
I don't know this for a fact, but I suspect her Colby is probably higher on the follow through than ours is.
Oh,
I don't know that.
Surprise.
I'm just guessing. So
all right. So
and
maybe
then
we can ask her to maybe do. Oh yeah, hold on a sec. I think just
okay.
Okay. Okay, my phone just rang. I think it's, yeah, let's continue. Okay, so I think maybe we can continue with the 3-hack discussion. Will that be all right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So
all right.
the reason why I got distracted with that is because I looked at that and I saw the word outsourced. And it just reminded me of that. So look, Joy and Nick then so yeah, we can do that with other functions, a number of sub functions. I think we can leverage lead generation, bring in a third party, use LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. Interested in crypto investments, entrepreneurs, businesses, owners, etc. We can let them build the company. I got to say, I don't know what Joy's doing. I mean, I asked her for some help in marketing, and she kind of was enthusiastic, and she recommended a friend of hers. This was before Christmas, and I said to them, right, okay, come back to me after Christmas then, and we'll see what we can do. And I haven't heard back from them, so it's kind of like life is obviously important to them for what they're doing, but I'm not feeling it from her. At least Nick is maintaining contact with us, and Nick is also telling us, you know, what's going on and why he's slow. Does that make sense?
Yes. So what is the recommendations?
Well, for that, I just think we need to start thinking about Joy not being the right fit. Not because she can't do the job, it's just because she's not putting the effort in to make time to do the job. She's not feeding back anything.
I see. All right.
And I don't make, you know, that might be because we're not paying her any money, and that's fine. That's not a problem. But it's a reality of where we're at, and so we just need to find somebody who is more interested or more willing for zero funds and a share of the future value, as opposed to being paid a salary. So it's just, you know, I'm not criticizing. I just think we need, you know, for us to move forward, we either find people who are going to be clear and say to us, no, I will do ABC and I will expect to be paid XYZ, and not move from that position, or be willing to sit there and go, okay, I can fit you in and I can do this much of this time and I'll get it done by this point in time. So, but again, that's just, I think that's what I'm looking for. So given that this form here was done after I did the initial version of this, and we've changed this, what I haven't done is I haven't migrated this onto here, which is something that I need to do. Does that make sense?
Okay, yes. So yeah, Mike, I apologize. I think the Donald has just arrived. Okay, so we might
Go on then, I'll see you later.
Thinking maybe, yeah, sorry. I think
That's
maybe
right.
we can okay, so tomorrow let me just check with I think Donald might have some meeting in the afternoon as well. Okay. At 3. Okay. Just hold on a sec. Okay. All right. So yeah. So Mike, okay. Yeah. So Mike, sorry about this. it's
All right.
okay.
Not a problem.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, I think regarding what you suggest about Joy, I think that's something I also agree. Okay, I think
Okay.
probably for now that's just I think the role is still we still want that role, so probably we want to find someone else, right?
Yeah.
Who can also do that fit in that role. And the other thing I was thinking is that okay, yeah, I think with Nick, do you think the current approach works? I mean, right now, anything you feel that we might want to adjust?
I think what will happen at the end of 6 months, we'll have an honest conversation with him and go, look, we agreed this. Do you think you fulfilled your end of the bargain? And he'll go yes or no.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's only going to cost us $600.
I see. Okay.
And it boils down to, do we think we've got $600 worth of value from him at the end of 6 months?
Okay.
I think he's certainly adding some value. I think there is value there, but I don't know. I mean, it's
okay. All right.
Yeah, he's giving us feedback and he's giving us justifiable reasons as to why he's doing what he's doing, right?
Okay. So, all right. Okay. All right. So
anyway, look, I'll let you get on.
And, yeah,
no, don't worry about it. Just
I think what can I mean, please have a look at what's been written, the notes, and then I think maybe we can discuss it next time. And for tomorrow, I think it'll be half an hour later, okay, or maybe an hour later. Would that be all right? An hour later than our usual time, which will be 9 a.m. Yeah. I think we probably have Tuesday also scheduled, right? But how about tomorrow, an hour later? So that would be 9 a.m. at your time zone.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. All right. So let's discuss tomorrow, at 9 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue with Rehack. All right. Okay. Thanks. All right.
See you later, buddy. Have a good day.
Yeah. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.